Hello, everyone. Okay, hi. Thank you for joining me today. We are here to talk about something that impacts many of us. It's all about cancer. A cancer diagnosis can be incredibly challenging, not just for the person diagnosed, but for everyone around them. I am Malini Rama, the registered counselor from the National Cancer Society Malaysia. With me today, I have trainee counselor Radhika
Hi
and
everyone.
also, yes, and also our invited guest speaker, Dr. Lim Shu Zian.
Hi, hello, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, Radhika, would you like to introduce yourself?
So good evening everyone. So my name is Radhika. I'm a training counselor at National Cancer Society Malaysia. I'm currently doing my internship in master's counseling. So here I am today joining all of you and I'm looking forward to it. Thank
Thank
you.
you. How about Dr. Lim?
Hi, my name is Lim Shu Xian. I'm currently a palliative physician in Hospital Kuala Lumpur.
Yay. So how are y'all doing today? It's late. It's about 9 o'clock. Had your dinner?
Oh,
Yes.
yes, mm, dinner was good. Yes,
How's your day, Dr. Lim?
very excited because
Uh-huh.
we can have this opportunity to
Okay.
share and also discuss a lot of things during this time. So I have been looking
Mm-hmm.
forward in the entire day.
Okay.
Yes, and after that, my talk will have a lot of my own photos. Yeah,
Yeah.
so looking forward to sharing.
Okay, great. Anything, Radhika? How are you today?
Great actually, but it's been a very busy day. But I have been
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to have this night with all of you today. And
Okay.
it's so good to hear from you too, Dr. Lim.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay, so maybe we can start today's discussion. Let me start from my side first.
Mm.
Okay. Yes. Today's topic is basically is the discussion about healing together, building resilience, relationship through cancer. I guess like today we'll focus on how we can build stronger, more resilient relationship during, I guess like difficult time. Okay. We also will discuss ways to support each other, communicate effectively, and also find strength together. Okay, of course our goal is to understand, okay, how we can heal together and come out stronger on the other side. Thank you everyone for being here, and let's get started. Okay, so a quick mental health check-in for everyone, those who are watching. Okay, just ask yourself this question: how are you feeling today? Really? If you're feeling good, really? How about physically and mentally? And yes, maybe I can go for another question as well. What's taking up most of your headspace right now? What's on your right now? What is your mind right now? Okay. So maybe one question that I would like to pick, one more question. How have you been sleeping? Okay, as I know, I guess like everyone is aware, sleep is very, very important. But how have you been sleeping? Maybe for the past 1 week. Okay, okay. So let's go to our first slide. Okay, as much we are talking about cancer patient, uh, as much we are talking about cancer diagnosis, about their health, about their treatment, I guess the mental health challenges are very real. Okay, so let's see what are the mental health challenges faced by cancer patients. Okay, if you are a cancer patient, you are a survivor, I'm sure you are aware about all this. Okay, the first thing is definitely you will go through some kind of anxiety and stress. Okay, the moment you are being diagnosed, okay, the anxiety will be there, the anxiousness will be there. Okay, the stress will be definitely is going to be there. Okay, besides that, okay, depression. Okay, you might go through depression. The depression can be before you start your treatment, can be during your treatment, or even after your treatment, even after you completed your treatment, you might still go through your depression. Okay, so next, as I say, stress level will be definitely will be there. And also concern of many survivors or patient will be their body image issues. Why we say about body image issue is basically sometimes they will lose their part of body. If it is a breast cancer, okay, they might go for mastectomy, removal of breast. Okay, and also if they are undergoing any kind of a treatment, for example chemotherapy, okay, they will lose their hair. Okay, their body image might be changed. Okay, next will be, okay, okay, financial issue is one of the biggest challenges faced by cancer patient or survivor. Okay, of course it is affecting their mental health. This is why we always say, people always think financial mean, okay, why, yeah, it's, is it because of treatment, are you going to pay for the treatment? But actually financial is not only to cover the treatment, sometimes it's beyond that. Okay, sometimes patient might look into a proper diet. Okay, in that case maybe they have to look for meat, vegetables, fruits. Okay, in that part, when they are with the healthy meal, okay, they follow the diet punya advice, so they have to buy all these items. Okay, so they need money for that. Of course sometimes for patient, those they travel from their house to go to hospital. Okay, for their fuel, petrol, for their toll, sometimes they don't have their own transport, they have to depend on with their grab. Okay, so finance is a very big area where usually patient or the caregiver will face a lot of challenges. Okay, and also it involves some kind of a drugs, maybe their chemo drug where they have to, so they have to fork their own money. Okay, next of course is the grief and loss. Okay, the mental health will always affect the grief and loss. And also the final one is always about relationship. That's why we are here about today's discussion, because we find uh, basically relationship issue is one of the biggest issue that faced by many couples. Okay, the moment they have been diagnosed with cancer, the relationship is not going to be same. Okay, so yeah, next will be, yeah, as much we are talking about cancer patient, let's look into caregiver. Okay, the one, people, your beloved people, those who are around you, those who are supporting you. Okay, in this way we always say the impact on the caregivers will be the first one, emotional strain. Okay, of course the caregiver often experience anxiety, stress, depression, grief. As much patient is going through mental health challenges, the caregivers also will go through the same one. Okay, physical demands will be caregiving punya responsibility, which lead them to feel tired, fatigue. They also will have sleep disturbance and neglect of their personal health. As much they care for their beloved ones, sometimes they don't enough sleep, they don't have their meal on time. Okay, they don't go for their regular checkups as well. And the third one, yes, as just now we spoke about financial issue, but of course as a caregiver they also will go through the financial burden. Okay, because some of them will bear the medical expenses of their beloved one. They might loss of their income because their time constraint. They might not able to do any extra overtime. They have to go back home early. Okay, so it's a loss of income sometimes will be there, and of course the caregiving cost can impose financial strain on the caregivers. Okay, next slide. Okay, so yes, we also would like to address the challenges faced by caregiver. Okay, the first one will be the role strain. Okay, as much cancer patient, they might be one person. Okay, but as a caregiver, the caregiver might be playing multiple roles. Okay, the caregiver might be wife, might be mother for children, might be a daughter for their elderly parents. So caregiver used to face a lot of challenges when it's come to their roles and responsibility in terms of balancing caregiving responsibility with other roles, such as to go to their work, to look after their parents, parenting, and also personal life can be very tough and challenging. Okay, next will be lack of support. Okay, as much the cancer patient and caregiver survivors have their peer support, sometimes group support, the caregiver will be like stand alone. Sometimes they just don't know where to go, who to talk with, and so on. So many caregivers feel isolated and unsupported in their caregiving punya journey. Okay, they feel very shy. They don't want to share about their feelings and emotion, and it also leading to feelings of loneliness and frustration. Okay, and the third one is uncertainty. Okay, it is basically dealing with the uncertainty of the disease progression and treatment outcome, that be about the caregiver punya stress and anxiety. So as a caregiver, the impact is going to be the same. They will go through the stress, depression as much their beloved one. Okay, so yes, next will be, so, as much we care about cancer patient, we also want to give importance to the caregivers as well. So we do have few support services at NCSM. If you know anyone who's going through the tough journey, okay, either a patient or caregiver or your beloved one, you feel that you wanted to help your beloved one, we do have a lot of support services at NCSM. Please, you can always give us a call at Cancer Information Services. We also have guided patient support. We do have a counseling and psychotherapy. Okay, we have a dietitian with us. We also have a play therapy, peer support, and we also have a homes for hope. And you can always give us a call at our helpline 1800 or email to us. Okay, so next will be, I would like to pass to trainee counselor Radhika. So she will take over from me.
Good evening once again, everyone. Okay, so today I'm here to share with you some coping strategies for caregivers. So, like Malini mentioned, the lifestyle change is not only for the cancer patients, it's also a change for the caregiver. So, to begin with, one of the most important coping strategy for a caregiver is seeking support. Prior to being a caregiver, you may have been a person who's independent, who could do everything by yourself, whether it comes to the chores at home, cleaning, cooking, everything else. You may be able to do all by yourself. But when you are a cancer caregiver, I think there will be some limitation, and it will be very painful and challenging if you keep doing it on a daily basis. So it is so important to seek support. So don't hesitate to reach out to friends, family members, or support groups who understand what you're going through, sharing your experience and feelings and others, um, can provide, emotional and practical advice. So basically, when you share, you may also hear different point of views, perspective from other people, and that would be very helpful for you in terms of managing your crisis at the moment. That's one. So seeking support is really important. That support system has to be strong so that you're able to cope on a routinal basis. Next, setting realistic expectations. Sometimes we want to do everything perfectly, and that's where it gets tricky a bit. So understand that you can't do everything perfectly. Set realistic goals for yourself and prioritize tasks based on the importance and urgency. So you need to divide yourself into two parts. What is urgent and what is important? If you're going to tick everything as something that you need to do urgent, then there you go. It's very alarming. So therefore that could be really risky as well for you as a person to get burnout. So setting that realistic expectations would help not only you to manage yourself but to manage your patient as well. So if there is any roles, like the chore that you're doing as a wife, cooking or cleaning, and you need to delegate it to someone else, then you have to do that and set your expectations very rightfully, like this is how much I can do for today. Maybe there's only 5 tasks that you're able to do because you need to take your husband to the hospital, and he's going through treatments, and there may be a lot of outbursts of his treatments or side effects of his treatments. You don't know when he's going to have fever, or a vomit, or he's going to collapse. All these things may happen. So being prepared and setting that realistic expectations would actually help you to navigate yourself. Next would be task. How do you take your breaks? Whenever you're doing your task or your chores or everything, it's so important to take that breaks, that in between breaks. If you don't, then you're going to get into that burnout situation, like I mentioned. And why is it important to take the breaks? So as you're doing, right, there'll be a lot of things that may happen ad hoc. Like I said, it may be like your husband has fallen somewhere, or you have to stay awake the whole night if he needs to go to toilet, or if you're a husband, then you need to sit beside your children and you need to take care of your wife, or it could be your child who's having cancer. So it could be extremely overwhelming, and by you taking that regular breaks, it actually ensures that you recharge yourself. Even short breaks can reduce that stress and prevent burnouts. Ask for help from other family members, or you could even hire a professional caregiver. But let me tell you, I've spoken to many caregivers. They somehow hesitate to get a professional caregiver or ask from their family members. For instance, the person that I know, she refused to ask because the husband is extremely comfortable with her. And if she would ask anyone else to jump in to do it, then that person may be in trouble. That's another problem that you may face. Next is practicing self-care. So make self-care a priority. Engage in activities that you enjoy and that help you relax, such as exercising, meditation, reading, or your any hobbies that you have. So we highly encourage caregivers, like when we do our sessions, I do expressive art therapy, and we do promote a lot of essential um, self-care methods, grounding activities that helps them in terms of even breathing, or even doing artwork, or doing cross stitch, just some hobbies or something that they actually like to do, or even taking a break and going for a coffee with your friend. And maybe you could get a family member to stay by your your beloved, and you could go out for a while, that 10 minutes. But it's so important that you do it, because you don't want to compromise your health or your well-being. And as you know, you are the caregiver, and you're the most important person in the system. And if you don't take care of yourself, then the whole system is going to collapse. So therefore, practicing a good self-care, taking that in between breaks, it's so crucial and essential. Another very important part about being a caregiver is staying organized. So it's important because you will have so many treatments, appointments, radiotherapy, chemotherapy. You have to be seeing so many doctors. Some of them, because of cancer, they have other issues as well. And so the list keeps going on. So staying organized would help you to ensure that you are able to help your beloved and also help yourself. So basically, you would know when you can take your breaks and take your, that time off when you need to in that system. And if you need to delegate that task to someone else, that calendar would actually help you or tell you that, okay, here it is, this task can be delegated to someone. So using calendars, planners, or caregiving apps to stay organized and manage your time effectively, having a structured schedule can reduce feelings of burnout, overwhelming, and so on. Besides these five strategies, there is another part to this. Often, I think caregivers feel very guilty to take that short breaks, or to make that to set that realistic expectation, or to practice self-care. They feel very guilty because somebody's life is at stake. But again, you cannot compromise your physical health, your emotional health, and mental health for that person, because you need to save yourself first to be there for that person. If not, your health will probably be deteriorating in the process of taking care of that person. Next. All right. So in addition to the strategies that I just mentioned, it's important to set boundaries. It's okay to say no to additional responsibilities or commitments that you can't handle. Setting boundaries is crucial for preserving your own well being. So, if you have to say no, for instance, um, a husband who's cooking for the wife, I've heard like the wife is being too fussy with the meals, because being a cancer patient, it becomes very difficult or challenging to have their meals. They, due to the side effect of chemo and so on, they hardly are able to eat. They struggle a lot because they lose their taste, and because of that, they find it very difficult to eat. And so, as caregiver, you feel very guilty if they are not able to eat, and you try to vary it so much with your meal plans and everything, but that sometimes lead to burnouts. So it's important to communicate it with your partner, that, hey, look, this is how much I can do. Please adjust. Please help yourself with the food that is there. This is healthy. This is what the dietitian has recommended. These are things that you can tell your partner. You have to also educate your partner about what you can offer them. And they also have to come to that point where, hey, I need to eat this because it's important for my health, instead of being choosy. So that's one. Another thing is educating yourself. So sometimes when you're in the darkness, you don't know a lot of things that may be there, like seeking support. Okay, where can I find my resources? So learn as much as you can about the condition or illness of the person you're caring for. Understanding their needs and how to manage them can help you feel more confident and capable. So, having said that, when you're educating yourself, you will also be able to come up with an emergency plan. Let's say something happens to your husband due to a side effect, you'll be able to know what to do or who to call. So some emergency support system numbers would actually help you. So by putting it up there, you'll be able to do that. So for that, you need to be learn you have to learn and educate yourself that these are my options and these are my choices, these are the things that I can go to. Even financially, how can you help your husband or your spouse or your child, to support them financially? It's important to understand what are the various resources that is there around you, or even about the sickness itself, how to meet the needs of your patient's emotions. They'll be so frustrated with all the lifestyle changes and everything. So as for you, so by you educating yourself, you'll be more prepared to endure and share that journey with your partner or your child. And as much as we want to be having schedules and plans and everything, there's a lot of things that may happen out of the plan. So staying flexible is very important, essential. Flexibility is the key when caring for someone else. Plans may change unexpectedly and you'll need to adapt accordingly. So being flexible can help reduce frustration and stress. Like I said, having realistic expectations and goals, or ensuring that, okay, this is my plan, but things may go wrong. So there could be plan B, plan C, and you just want to stay keeping your mind open and stay flexible so that you don't go into a space where you feel really frustrated that you can't follow a plan. Next would be practicing mindfulness. So practicing mindfulness is something that a technique such as deep breathing or mindfulness meditation can help you stay present in the moment, and it will reduce your stress. So like I mentioned, when you see the therapist or you reach out for the professional help, we do teach you how you can actually help yourself by understanding your own senses, your listening, your touch, um, your visual, all of this, your senses. How do you actually experiencing it? So staying conscious. Sometimes you're so tired, you may do things unconsciously and keep going. But there's a lot of problems that may occur when that happens. You may do something wrongly or give the wrong medication. These things may happen. So staying mindful as a caregiver is very important. So you are consciously doing things and you're aware of what's coming and what's around you. Seeking professional help, like I mentioned, if you are unable to do something and you are struggling with time management, you're struggling to find support system, you're struggling to find how do I delegate my tasks, or I'm experiencing compassion fatigue, or I'm having burnouts, you want to seek help. You shouldn't be staying and suffering alone. This journey of a caregiver is not an easy path. So please do reach out if you need help. If you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or depressed, don't hesitate to seek help from a mental health professional. Therapy can provide you with coping strategies and emotional support. So, for those of you who are here, it's great. Okay, I hope this sharing would help you um, maybe reach out better or encourage you to reach out better. And like I mentioned, remember, taking care of yourself, it's not selfish. You don't have to feel guilty. It's necessary for you to be able to provide the best care for your loved one by also taking care of yourself. With that, I would like to invite the next speaker, Dr. Lim, to share with us tonight.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Lim Shu Xian. As we have introduced just now, I'm a supportive and palliative physician under Hospital Kuala Lumpur. This is really an honor to be doing this presentation and sharing what I know, because I strongly believe that together we can help everyone live their lives to the fullest. Let's start off with the first slide. So this is my agenda. We will talk about recognizing red flags. Then next, we will go to tips and strategies to overcome. And lastly, I will end with a summary. So let's look at this picture. So this was a picture that I took when I went for a conference in Cebu. My friends brought me to this place with delicious crabs. And suddenly my friend said, what a delicious meal. And my other friend said, the crabs died for us. So for the crabs, they are suffering. And when I showed this picture in a talk, then suddenly one of the participants pointed and said, oh, oh dear, this is a family of crabs. If you look at the size of the claw, the participants only said there's the papa crab, mama crab, and the baby crab. So what this picture teaches me is that everything, it is not just one side. We always have to look things from a multi-dimensional view. Next, please. So let's go into a practical case. You might feel that some of the cases are very common, or you might feel that this is very personal. This is not specific to one person, nor is it of any particular case. It's because these are very common issues that everyone face. So let's start off with Mr. Chong. He's a 65-year-old engineer. He's a very independent guy. He takes care of his entire family. He's very proud to take care of everything under the sun for his wife and also his 3 children. He has brought them up well. So his plan was to retire at 65 and then after that travel around the world. However, suddenly he was not feeling well. He had tummy pain and he went to the hospital and the devastating news came. He was diagnosed with colon cancer and he was told that he needs to undergo immediate operation, otherwise he will potentially pass away immediately as there was some bowel obstruction. So subsequently he had to undergo chemotherapy. So Mr. Chong is a guy that's very self-sufficient, very independent, takes care of everything, and suddenly he has to undergo all these treatments. And as many know, the side effects of chemotherapy are quite bad, and he really suffered a lot. So the next slide actually shows this picture, and this was what Mr. Chong felt. He felt that life suddenly had no more meaning. He felt that it was hopeless. He had all sorts of side effects. He was vomiting, he was tired, he had no energy to even eat or shower himself. Every single daily activity had to be helped by his wife. And he felt very guilty because to him, as a man, he can provide for his family is his pride and gives him meaning. So hence now he couldn't do any of that. So he's actually very frustrated. So what about his wife? The next slide will show about the wife's profile, Madam Amy. She's 60 years old. She has been taking care of the home while Mr. Chong has been earning money for the family. So she supports everything at home. She took care and brought up 3 children. She cleaned the house. She made sure everyone ate well. She made sure the home was clean. And she made sure all 3 children grew up and supported them. Suddenly, her husband, who took care of every bills and every household issues, suddenly fell sick, and she had to step up and take up this task. Moreover, just as they were planning their worldwide tour, she had to forego that dream, and now she has to take care of him. She did whatever she can. 3 of the children are all adults. However, because of this treatment, it is not like 1 week or 1 day, it is months. So the children, although they are very supportive, however, they could not take more leave because they had to work. So initially, Madam Amy felt like this next slide where we can see, she felt like she was a superhero, where she managed to take care of everything. However, she began to feel tired and she began to feel exhausted, no energy, because she had to cook for her husband and he was very particular about his meals. And because of the side effects of treatment, his mouth and his tongue and his taste buds started to change. So food that he loved previously, he now can no longer tolerate. And even she has put a lot of salt, sometimes he said that the food was tasteless. And she had to cook and to clean and to bring him for all his appointments, which was nearly every 1 to 2 weeks. She was exhausted. So this next slide actually shows how she felt. She felt that she was a little plant in a very rocky terrain, and she was so exhausted and she was so dehydrated. These are very common problems that we face, and these are very common issues that we see that patients have, irregardless whether it is at the beginning of the disease, middle of the disease, or even towards the end. Next slide. So hence, it is important to recognize all these emotions. I like to call it red flags. So if you notice that, be it whether you're a patient, a family, a loved one, a friend, or someone who's taking care, or a caregiver or a helper, if you start to notice these emotions are recurring more and more frequent, please seek help. Some of these emotions are being said, and the happiness seems so far, far away, or constantly getting angry, or very anxious, that a small thing can get you agitated, or overly tired, that in spite of sleeping many hours, you still feel that you have no more energy. Or you feel as if like you are being abandoned, the feeling of loneliness. And sometimes it also comes out as avoidance. So the spouse of children may provide everything, may even provide the provision for food, for stay, can even provide even 2 to 3 helpers to take care of the patient. But they just cannot bear to sit and be with the patient because they couldn't bear to face how bad things were. These are common symptoms that we actually see. So how do we overcome? Let's see our next slide. So even as we walk through our next slide, we will see that we will go through tips and strategies. Number 1, research. So you can see in the picture, there is a laptop over there. So it is important to know what the disease is all about. What are the common challenges that people have gone through? And what are the potential outcomes of each treatment? It is important to know whether an operation is the best option, or chemotherapy, radiotherapy are good options. And also need to understand whether this treatment, what is the intention of the treatment. And it will also help to prepare expectations. For example, it is commonly known that chemotherapy will cause someone to lose a lot of hair. So perhaps one of the things that can consider is to shave the head while undergoing the treatment, to prevent the trauma of going through hair falling down, or to prepare a wig, or even to prepare hats. And then once the treatment is over and the patient is well, then the hair can grow again. So it is good to be prepared. Next, number 2 will be positivity. So patients sometimes can feel like it's very hopeless, and they can feel as if like the sky is falling down, or they feel that there is no point in going on, or the vomiting, the retching, that they cannot even eat at all, or even worse, the mouth ulcers can cause so much pain, and they can become very negative, and they do not see a hope. So during these times, number 1, it is important to let the doctor know that you are going through all these problems, because most things have treatments and there are coping strategies physically, not just emotionally. So I saw this board in one of the wards where we can see it says that change your thoughts and then it will change your world. So if we constantly focus on the negativity, it will bring our mood down. It'll make us feel very sad and depressed, and it will also affect all the people around us. So even as we focus on the positive and we count our blessings every day, and with gratitude, we will become more positive in the midst of challenges. So this is a picture of a ceiling light. So as you can see, yes, one light is down, but yet we can say that the other lights are still there. The room is still bright. Or you can see the one warm light amidst of all the other four lights. Yes, you are different, but you are still shining. So focus on the positivity. Even though it can be tough, it is not easy. Number 3, self-care. So Malini and Radhika has gone through some self-care methods. So I will show you some of the self-care methods that we have had and how we can cope better. Art therapy is something that is very helpful. It doesn't have to be done by art therapists, but it can be even be done through simple hobbies. Of course, art therapies, I've worked with 2 excellent art therapists when I was doing my fellowship, and they were amazing, and they use art to help the patient cope better. So some of the art therapies, be it beading or knitting or even simple artwork, it doesn't have to be complex, it doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to be expensive. So even as we focus doing one small thing at a time, it helps us have some relief and stop focusing on our suffering. So this is one good way. So for some people, it's different. So especially a lot of ladies prefer to cook, and they find joy in cooking because the family are happy. And these ladies may not even eat much of their own cooking, but they feel the joy when they see their loved ones enjoying their food. So if they can't stand up and cook the entire time, then perhaps the family can help to cut while they do the actual cooking per se, and the family continue to help with the cleaning up. Some people love to eat. So if during the time you feel that you may have ulcer, it's okay. There are other options. For example, eating ice cream, eating yogurt, eating fruits, eating blended ice, or eating blended fruits. There are many ways to overcome so that they can still enjoy eating. Next, we will see that some people enjoy massage. I definitely enjoy. So if this is something that you like, it definitely helps to ease the tension. And during massage, you also can have a good rest. We should never neglect health, and we should never just become a couch potato and sit down and just watch TV the whole time. So some people, if you're tired, then fine. For some people, watching TV will get their minds off their disease for some time. Some people cope by playing games. It's also okay. But if you're playing a lot until you're neglecting everything else, or you're watching TV until you're neglecting your sleep, then perhaps those are some signs and red flags that you need to seek help. So some people will also find health or exercise a form of enjoyment. And even as they do simple exercise, you don't have to be a marathon runner to consider doing exercise. It can be a simple stroll in the park. It can be even on a wheelchair as you go there with your family for just even if like a stroll around the playground near your house. That itself is good enough. If it is possible and you feel up to it, perhaps going to the beach for a walk, or even going to the aquarium for a stroll, and just to enjoy the environment with your family or with your loved ones is also very good. So if, as you can see over the next 2 slides, these are some options that are very common, and to many it will bring a lot of serenity and a lot of peace and calmness. Some people don't want to mix around, they just want to be alone. So like this picture where a knitted goat that my friend made, and he took this picture. I felt that sometimes we just want to be alone, not because we want to isolate ourselves, because we need the quietness to reflect through life, or to just sit and stare and calm down. So the next strategy will be time management. So there are three main things that I'd like to share about time management, which is number one, prioritize. So you have to prioritize what is important. If 10 people pop up wanting to visit you and you're so exhausted, perhaps they shouldn't be the priority. You need your rest, be it you're a patient or you're a caregiver. You need to prioritize yourself. If you have to cook and you have to clean and the house is not too dirty, then perhaps for that day, you might just want to prioritize cooking and rest. And cleaning can be the next day. Also need to learn to say no. Yes, many people love you, many people care for you, but if they all want to visit you, that may not be the best option. Or they want to feed you and cook for you and clean for you, but you really are just not up to it. And if 10 people suddenly pop up bringing 10 pots of chicken soup, you also cannot finish 10 pots of chicken soup on that day. So learn to say no and learn to take breaks. You don't have to continuously work, you don't have to continuously serve, and you don't have to continuously sacrifice yourself, irregardless you're a patient or caregiver, because it is not easy. And I would say is that you're not Superman. You need a break. You need to rest. So the next strategy will be seek support. So seeking support in this sense will be social support and emotional support. So it can be listening to, so that you get someone to listen to you, be it your friend or your family, where they are just there to hear you out. Many times we don't really want people to tell us what to do. We just want someone to listen to us empathetically. And we just want someone to hear us out. So you can do this at home, you can do this in a cafe, or even just go out with a friend to have some cake or even have tea. There are also many support groups or peer support groups that are provided by NGOs or even religious or non-religious organizations. So these are very important support groups, knowing that you are not alone and someone else has gone through it. And sometimes it's not knowing what can be done, but knowing someone else has gone through it and understands the whole condition. Number 6, seek professional support. So seeking professional support can come in many ways. I am so amazed at National Cancer Society because they actually have a group of counselors and psychologists that provide all this counseling and psychological help to patients and family. I am really amazed and I think it's excellent. So the service that I come from is palliative service. So this is my team in the hospital. We are a tiny and slowly growing team in my hospital, where what we do is that we not only see patients who are dying. That's a misconception. A lot of our patients come to clinic, and a lot of our patients are undergoing active management, and some of them also no longer follow up under us because after the treatment, the symptoms are gone and they are well. And we happily discharge them from our clinic. So if you have symptoms, for example, pain, or vomiting, or you feel breathless, or even you feel that the emotional stress and distress is beyond what you can bear, ask to be referred to the palliative services and let us journey with you to control your symptoms, for example, ulcer, so that we can help you control and get your ulcer healed faster, so that you can eat better, so that you can go through the entire chemotherapy better. Next slide. Lastly, this is important. Build happy memories. Go for walks in the garden. As Winnie the Pooh and his friend, how good friends they are. It is important to have happy memories with your loved ones. It doesn't matter who they are. It can be your family, it can be your friends, it can be your colleagues, it can be your students, it can be your teachers, it can be people who are from your support group. It doesn't matter, but it's journeying together. And yes, there are tough times, but build happy memories because there will always be good times. Of course, another happy memory that we love to see is that when patient or families also have important occasions in their life. For example, like graduation. And in fact, we also saw quite a number of weddings throughout our journey with patients. It is amazing to see when they celebrate a happy occasion together. Sometimes it is just watching the sunset together or even doing simple things that don't make sense. For example, looking at this Christmas tree. This was a real tree that I took during Chinese New Year. If you actually see the decorations for Chinese New Year on a Christmas tree, sometimes some things don't need to be too rigid. Uh, just go with the flow. Just be creative. Watch a sunset with someone. Or if you're happy to just sit down alone, watch the sunset yourself and enjoy the moment. This next picture is a beautiful picture. Of course, both of them are well, they are not unwell. But this is a picture of my friend's wife and his son. As the mother and son read a book together. Sometimes this is what it's all about, spending time with your loved one. Next is a Korean drama. I love to watch shows. I love to watch comedy. So this was a show that is really, really hilarious and typical Korean drama. A lot of family dynamics, the three daughters growing up, a lot of family arguments, issues. However, at the end, they got together well, and unfortunately, they found out that the mom had cancer. So it shows the mother's struggle and the three daughters coping with the entire situation and how they spend time together and how to came to terms with the disease and how they gel back and spend important time together building lasting memories. It's a beautiful show, good to watch. uh, I won't give you spoiler alert. Yeah, just watch it and enjoy the show. Prepare tissue because you'll cry buckets. Yeah. So in summary, it is important to recognize red flags, and there are definitely a lot of strategies to improve quality of life. This is what I strongly believe in, that no matter where we are, how we should live our life to the fullest. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Lim. I guess like before we started this webinar, I mean the live session, I asked you what is your role, what do you do, and you mentioned that you love to serve the patient and their loved one. Okay, so yeah, it was a very wonderful and very nice sharing. Okay, I guess like it's just perfect. Okay, so yeah, uh, Radhika, how do you feel?
I'm good. I'm great. I mean, I was very touched by Dr. Lim's
Correct.
as
Yeah.
well. It was really nice. It's a lot of learning as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, yeah, I guess like we still have time. Maybe we can just ask Dr. Punya experience, like since you are working with patient at one stage and at the palliative Punya department, how do you usually interact or connect the patient and the caregivers? You know, sometimes the challenges will be definitely will be there, you know, in terms of communication, in terms of, you know, sometimes the patient punya mood is not going to be stable, right? They will be, you know, don't want to eat and all this thing. So the caregiver dilemma is usually will be there. So from your experience, how usually you talk to the caregiver, how do you talk to the patient? So maybe you can share something.
So I guess the important thing is right words, right place, right time. If they are actually very frustrated, I don't think the right thing to say is will be to make jokes that are not right. We need to address the need. We need to address the issue, and we actually need to find out what are they going through. So I think the first priority will always be the patient, and we do have so palliative. I will put it as we are very capo people. Capo means busybody. So in whenever we see a patient, there is a framework that we will go through. There's a physical framework. We will see the physical, then after that we'll go on to the emotional, and then social, and then after that also the spiritual. Where spiritual is not only about religion, but meaning of life to the patient. And if the patient is having pain and going through physical symptoms, we are not going there to ask, tell me how you feel about your situation. We
Correct.
That's right.
spot the symptom first. If they are
Yeah.
ill, we cannot be telling them, let's talk about how you feel. I don't think it's the right context. So usually what happens is that we'll control the symptom, and then when they are ready, then we have deeper conversations. Some
Mm.
people want to have deep conversations at the beginning. That is fine. Some people only want to have deeper conversations 6 months later. It is fine with us. And then after that, caregivers, if they are coping well, then we may not interfere too much, but we will just do a simple assessment to see number one, how are they coping? Number two, what is their support network? Is there
Right.
anyone to support them? Is it family? Is it friends? Is it religious bodies, be it a mosque or church or their temple? So I think these are very important things to take into account. If we feel that they are well supported, then we may not be that active um, in helping them because they have a good support. But if we find that they are only one person, not many friends, they are the introvert type, not the type to talk, then these are the people that we will pay a little bit more attention because we know that when times are tough, they will not cope very well.
Okay. Okay, well explained. Thank you. And yes, I guess like we do have a few questions from the audience, from our viewers. Yeah, maybe we can look into the questions. Okay. There's a question from Skyline Creative. Okay. How do I talk to someone who is recently diagnosed with cancer? I am sad for her, but at the same time, I don't want to appear to suddenly change our way of communicating, like jokes towards each other. So, maybe Radhika, as a point of counselor punya view, would you like to share about this?
I think the first part of it, empathizing for that person is um, important. Yeah, so understanding how they are feeling. So a lot of cancer patients, they do not like sympathy because they don't want to feel different. So that's very important to acknowledge first. At the same time, we don't want to belittle or to sound like, we are not taking them seriously. So there's a very thin line to balance between um, and being empathetic, compassionate, while not hurting the person and just being there. So I think most important part is listening skills, very important. So being a good listener, reading their body language, how they're feeling, their emotions on their face, those kind of things will really help the person in the way they're communicating. And with that, they will be able to take on what's next, the next steps that they can, how they would be able to communicate with the patient himself or herself. And
Okay.
I think presence is a great support system. So just being there matters. So I guess if somebody wants to be there for someone, your presence matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you may allow that person to take the lead of the conversation to begin with. Yeah.
Correct. And yes, maybe I can add this. When people say, I will be there for you, I guess like it is, you have to keep that word, because it's like when the person, the patient or someone really in need, when they contact you, they message you, it is important for you to, maybe you can respond to them, you try to reply to them, rather than, oh, okay, maybe I call you back later, or they think, okay, this person, like, so when you say the word to be there for someone, I guess like you really have to mean it, and you have to really be there for that person. Okay, so the next question. Okay, what's the best and helpful way for a caregiver dealing with the emotional aspect of cancer? So, doctor, do you have anything to say? Any input from this question from your side?
I think the first thing is recognizing. So some people will just continue to give and to give and to give. And then they give until they are fully drained. Then suddenly they will just back off. So that is something that is very common. It's not wrong because they just continuously give and there's nothing left.
Yeah.
Second thing is that seek help.
Yeah.
And thirdly is that be real. Don't pretend everything is okay when it's not okay. And what you are going through is very common, it's very normal. So seek help because a lot of people have gone through this and there are ways to overcome it. And even if there are no way to overcome it, at least there's someone journeying with you together.
Correct. I guess like another way to support also is like, as a caregiver, you can always connect yourself with another peer support. You can look for the peer support, a person who has experience, as a caregiver, could be the same diagnosis and so on. Okay, so maybe you can connect yourself to a peer support, or you can always join any support group for caregiver. Okay, and of course the most important one, if you feel that your emotion is not so stable, you feel like you really need to speak to someone, just talk to the mental health professionals. Okay, any more question? Okay, so thank you for the insightful webinar. Caregivers often sacrifice a lot during their caregiving. This sacrifice may lead to resentment and impact in their relationship. What can we do about this? Anyone? Radhika? Anything you wanted to
Yeah.
share?
Can. So I think it's normal that they get very frustrated because it's not only a lifestyle change for the patient, but it's a lifestyle change for the caregiver as well. So it will reach to resentment and impact their relationship. So what can we do about this? I think communication is very, very important. So to communicate it to your partner, to tell them how you feel about it and share that feelings, it would benefit them in also understanding you. So staying, like, I once again, being empathetic in both ways. So you communicate it to them and learn they're compassionate. And I believe that when you are when you try to understand, and it will build compassion, and when you're compassionate, you will connect with the person better. So I think it's a process. So understanding, being compassionate, and then connecting to the person, I think there will definitely be a change to the relationship, because it is a reborn to the relationship. Everything is changing when your lifestyle changes. So you have to start from scratch. So yeah, if there was a lot of expectations in the relationship, they had a lot of future plans that they had together, everything is going to crumble. So communicating and rebuilding those goals and setting different expectations, I think all these would actually lighten and give a new brightness to the relationship. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, I guess like that's all questions from our viewers and audience. And yes, okay, anything from your side, Doctor?
I think this is an amazing time and an amazing discussion. I think that it's important that everyone learn to focus on self care because if we constantly give, we will burn out. And when we burn out, the consequences can be quite drastic. So there are ways to overcome it. So yeah, let's overcome it together.
Yeah.
And
Okay. I
Radhika?
would also like to add on to that. So it's a reminder you are not alone in this journey. We are all here for you. There are a lot of resources around you. There's a big support system to support you through this journey. So reach out wherever you can, educate yourself on where you can reach out to all the resources that are there around you so that we are able to help you. So, to just summarize today's session, I think we spoke a lot on self care, support system, how we can prioritize. A lot of art therapy, hobbies was shown by Dr. Lim. Um,
Yeah.
Cooking, artwork, all that was amazing. Um, about NCSM services, I think Malini has already told you about the services that they can provide. Please reach out to them. Um, we spoke about lifestyle changes for the caregiver and the cancer patient. And I think I would end it like how Dr. Lim ended, building the happy memories. I think
Yeah.
that's very important. When someone is going through so much of pain, when we are working with the pain with them, I think building that memories will enrich the entire experience, and the focus will also change to enhance the positivity in the relationship. With that, I think we can end today's session. Thank you so much, Dr. Lim and Malini, for engaging me. I think I had a wonderful time tonight. Thanks. Take care. And
Me
thank you,
too. Thank
audience.
you.
thank you,
Good
everyone.
night, everyone. Yes. Good night.